How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Syracuse Aviation and welcome back to Cedar Creek Regional Airport for another airport update today. So there's a lot of little changes here in today's update as we are getting into the beginning of the holiday season. This is a Thanksgiving Eve airport update of Cedar Creek, so there's a few aircraft changes, some one-off upgrades, some gate changes, and a couple new routes that we'll get into once we get to those aircraft. So a lot of really interesting things happening in today's airport update, so I hope you guys are excited. I'm very excited, so let's get started here at Gate 1. You may remember in the last update of Cedar Creek that I did mention this gate was kind of a spare gate or a potential international gate should we decide to attract international air service. So it hasn't been used until now because of some Southwest operations down at the eastern end of the terminal. So that's why Allegiant is here. So here we have an Allegiant Air Airbus A319. The Allegiant operations are still the same as they were in the last update, so just a once daily service to sorry about the focus, a once daily service to both Las Vegas and Orlando Sanford on the Airbus A319. So here, the Allegiant A319, this flight will be the turnaround to Orlando Sanford. Frontier's operations also haven't changed at all, so we still have a once daily flight to both of their, or two of their hubs, so Denver and Orlando MCO. So it's still the Orlando flight coming in first for the turnaround, and then the Denver flight occurs a few hours later in the day. So this one will be heading out to Orlando as well. So I know we had the Allegiant in the background also going to Orlando. So just a lot of demand for the Florida destinations. So again, there hasn't really been upgrades for these for today's update. So Allegiant and Frontier both doing very consistent, kind of similar operations, how they both have Airbus and then a once daily flight to Orlando, and then each of them have another daily flight on the baby bus to one of their hubs. Just differs because you have Frontier going to Denver, then Allegiant going to Las Vegas. So once again here at Gate 2, looking really nice in the tail there, you have Griswold the Bear. So we have this Frontier A320 with sharklets with the CO engines heading out to Orlando. So finally getting into some interesting operations here, we have a upgrade for the Thanksgiving traffic. So here at Gate 3, getting into our Delta Airlines operations now, we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 757-200. This is a Generation 1 with winglets. This aircraft is filling in for an A321. This was scheduled on a 757 for today. So it's still the 3 daily A321. It was the 5 daily A319, then they switched it to the 3 daily A321. For today though, it is a 3 daily 757 just for today, a 757-200 to accommodate the increased demand. So this aircraft will be heading out to Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. So that's very nice to see a 757 here. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a consistent operation. It could be someday once the airport gets big enough and we start getting more consistent traffic. Then in the busier times of year, you might see a 757-300 in here. I don't know yet. We'll just have to see kind of how the airport progresses, and if we need to do that, we will. Definitely be very interesting to see the outcome though. So once again here at Gate 3, we have the Delta 757-200 heading out to Atlanta. Next up at Gate 2 here, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A319. This aircraft will be heading out to Boston Logan today. So nothing really changing here. It's still a 2 daily service on the A319. The only difference is that today's load was just a little bit more full than usual, but not really enough to have an aircraft upgrade. So today, still in the A319, which is very nice. The A319 works very well for this particular destination on the twice daily service. So very nice to see that. We'll see if in the future, again, like Atlanta, if the airport grows a lot, could see an A320 or an A321 fly to Boston from Cedar Creek. We'll have to see though. Again, you don't really know. But yeah, for today, Thanksgiving Eve, Delta A319 heading out to Boston. And here at Gate 5, we have a Delta Connection CRJ-700. This aircraft will be heading out to Detroit today. Nothing new for the Detroit service, still a 5 daily CRJ-700. Not the strongest performing route out of Cedar Creek. Obviously a CRJ-700, not really the best, but at the same time it is a 5 daily service, which is pretty nice to see. So it's very consistently operated. It's a very useful route to have, a very pivotal one, I guess. Not really like the strongest thing in the world, but it's one of those those middle of the road kind of routes. It's there, it performs well. Just kind of your generic regional jet service. So it's very nice to have that here, very helpful. So excited to see how this route progresses in the future, but for now, once again, a 5 daily CRJ-700 to Detroit. Here we have another 5-daily service on Delta Connection, although this time we have a CRJ 900 with service to New York JFK. New York JFK, still a 5-daily CRJ 900, excuse me, like the last update. So it's been performing very well, just like Detroit, the 5-daily service. Just a little bit more demand on all 5 of those flights. That's why it's on the CRJ 900 as opposed to the 700. So really nice to see some regional jet variety here. Hoping that we get some Embraers in the future. So the Embraer 175 is really the only, aside from the 170, it's the only Embraer that Delta has in their fleet. So would be really nice to see those in here, maybe for Salt Lake or Los Angeles even someday. It'd be really cool. So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully we can get one of those released from a model manufacturer, in which case, if that does happen, I'd be glad to pick up 1 or 2 of them, have some Embraers flying in here to Cedar Creek. That'd be really cool to see. So anyways, here at gate 6, I believe. Yes, gate 6, we have a Delta CRJ 900, once again heading out to New York JFK. Breeze has still been operating consistently with their flights to Charleston, which is a twice-weekly service on the Airbus A220. So they are here today. Obviously, they can't really upgrade. They can upgrade the frequency, but generally they won't really do an upgrade and add another flight if it's just a twice-weekly. So they do have a new route, though, that has been announced to Tampa. So Breeze is kind of, as I said, they're going to kind of test the water here and see how it feels with their loads, which have both been really good. Charleston has been really nice. Very full flights on Charleston, which has been great to see. And then Tampa today, this was the inaugural service. There were a lot of people that flew into here. I'm assuming the flight was more full than it maybe usually would be because of the fans that wanted to experience the inaugural. So yeah, once again, the Breeze A220 arriving in from Tampa. We'll head out to Tampa. So we'll have to see what happens in the future with more routes. I think they could do something like Orlando next, maybe Las Vegas or something like that. So they're kind of starting with their biggest hubs to where they have the biggest presence, their biggest establishments. So Charleston and Tampa are going to be the 2 that kind of show Breeze what their operations could be here in the future. If those loads perform very well, they could add more frequencies. Then they'll start adding more destinations from Cedar Creek, I think. So once again, here at gate 7, we have the Breeze Airways Airbus A220 heading out to Tampa after an arrival from Tampa on the inaugural service. Next up at gate 8, we have an American Airlines Airbus A319 with CFM engines in the fence tip configuration. This aircraft is on the turnaround flight to Charlotte, North Carolina today. So Charlotte, still on the 3-daily A319, nothing much to say here. Kind of surprised we didn't get an upgrade to an A320 or an A321 or 738 or something, but it's all good. I really do enjoy putting the A319 in here. It's such a generic aircraft, but it's one of those aircraft that it just brings an airport together. When you see an American A319 there, they just fly everywhere, so to see them in an airport update, it's always just a really nice thing, I think. And a 3-daily frequency in the A319 to a city like Charlotte, I just think is perfect. It just makes so much sense to me. So very nice to have American Airlines being fairly consistent here with Charlotte International Airport on the A319. So once again, flying out of gate 8 here, we have an American A319 with service to Charlotte. Dallas-Fort Worth also hasn't changed. It's still a 3-daily 737-800, which is actually, it's still a very good service, just like Charlotte, just a little bit more demand for all 3 of those frequencies. So that's why it's on the 737-800. We might see Charlotte upgraded to a 737-800 in the future, although I'd rather it stay in the A319. I think it makes the most sense. But yeah, we have an American 737-800 on the 2nd out of 3 daily services to Dallas-Fort Worth. Next up here at gate 10, we have the JetBlue Airways Airbus A320 in the spotlight tail with fence tips. This aircraft is on the turnaround flight to Orlando MCO today. JetBlue's operations has been the same since the last update when they introduced their airline here to Cedar Creek. Still a once daily flight to Orlando MCO. It's been performing very well. The loads have been great. There's no need for an upgrade or a downgrade or anything. Embraer 190, it's just too small for this kind of a service. So it's been very consistent, very strong loads, just enough to have it on an A320, and it's been very strong, so it's been great to see that. Next up here at gate 11, we have a Southwest Airlines 737-700 in the Canyon Blue livery. This aircraft will be heading out to Baltimore today. Just like all the previous updates, Baltimore has been on a 5-daily 737-700, which is performing really well. No need for an upgrade or downgrade at the moment, so hopefully it continues to operate this consistently. So not really a whole lot to go over here. Just very nice to have a consistent service here on Southwest out of Cedar Creek. Southwest has introduced a new operation out of Cedar Creek, so I think Southwest saw what JetBlue was doing with Orlando, and they figured they would jump on the same opportunity. So now we do have an extra flight once a day to Orlando, this time on Southwest, which is a once daily 737-800. So this is going to be very exciting. Another really consistent service that Southwest is going to try their best to keep up with JetBlue on. Again, a once daily service with a 737-800. I think that makes a lot of sense too. Again, a lot of Florida demand. So I think we've had 4 Orlando flights in this update, which is absolutely crazy. So maybe Breeze should stay away from Orlando for a little bit until we get some more variety here. So Orlando is the strongest performing city now out of Cedar Creek. That is why we have all these services, or maybe it's the strongest performing because of all the services. I don't really know which came first, but so we have Allegiant, Frontier, let's see, JetBlue, and now Southwest flying all to Orlando. I believe, yeah, those are all a once daily service with each of those 4 airlines. So that's really cool to have a consistency like that. 4 daily, but you know, between 4 airlines operating it once daily. So a lot of demand for Orlando. They're actually all filling up the aircraft types that they fly it on, which has been really nice to see. So hopefully Breeze stays away from Orlando and tries to fill in some of those niche markets before they do something like Orlando. We'll have to see though. 4 daily between 4 airlines, still very nice to see here. So once again, the Southwest 737-800 in the Heart livery will be heading out to Orlando MCO. Now you guys may recall in the last update we did have Chicago Midway operated here at Cedar Creek on a 3 daily 737-700. Nothing's changed there. You may remember this was Allegiant's gate in the last update. As I said earlier, Allegiant did move down to gate 1. So now Southwest has taken over this gate. So 3 gates for Southwest. Really nice to see that. Just further 3 operations, which I think they could probably make 2 gates work, but the airport had room and Southwest wanted all of their flights to kind of arrive and depart around the same time. And, you know, so if there's any delays or anything, they would have to move some things around. So they figured they'd just get their 3 gates in, keep it this way for as long as they can until they need to expand again. So we have a Southwest 737-700 heading out to Chicago Midway on the 2nd daily service. Nothing's really changed here. Still very nice to have this very consistent, competing with United a little bit with their Chicago service, which we'll get into next. So as I was saying, we have United operating Chicago O'Hare on a 3 daily service, which is on their 737-900. It's been very consistent, which is really nice to see. As I said in the last update, you guys know how United's consistency is with aircraft types. Ever since their route was introduced, they've been operating it on a 3 daily 737-900, kind of competing with Southwest here on their 3 daily midway flights on the 700. Between both airlines, for United, it's mainly a connection hub. From Cedar Creek is most of the travel, and then people go elsewhere from O'Hare, which is why it's on a 900. Southwest is kind of a mix of final destination and layovers, so pretty interesting to see what the loads are doing there and how they're competing with each other between 2 pretty different airlines. So once again, we have United 737-900 in the Evo Blue colors on the 2nd out of 3 daily flights to Chicago O'Hare. In the last aircraft at the terminal down here at the end of the concourse, we have a United CRJ700. This registration is a 550, but it operates as a 700. So it'd be nice to get a model of an actual 700, just so I know that's, you know, the actual thing, so I won't have to substitute anything in or mention it. But for now, this is fine. It's pretty much the same thing. So we have United Express CRJ700 in the Evo Blue colors heading out to Washington IAD. Still a 4 daily service as the last update had, so nothing really changed here. It's been very useful to have this. Again, it's kind of like what I was mentioning with, I think, Detroit, how it's kind of one of those middle-of-the-road markets that's has a fair amount of demand, and the airport wouldn't really know what to do if it didn't have the service, but it's not like Chicago Midway or Chicago O'Hare, or it's not like Atlanta where they're having to upgrade aircraft occasionally. So it fills up pretty well. Not the strongest, but it's enough to have 4 daily CRJ700s, which is very nice to see. So once here, the last aircraft at the concourse, the United Express CRJ700 will be heading out to Washington IAD on the 3 out of 4 daily services. Just about to pull onto runway 29 for departure out to Philadelphia. Yes, we do have another one-off upgrade. So for today, we have the, in front of us here is the second of 3 daily departures to Philadelphia with American Eagle, usually operated on the Embraer ERJ-145 on all 3 frequencies, but because of the Thanksgiving traffic, there has been increased demand for this particular route. So today's flights to Philadelphia, this is the second out of 3 daily flights. The first one was the Embraer 175, this one is as well, and then the third flight is scheduled to be on an Embraer E175 as well. So again, just about to pull out onto the runway, line up, and depart the American Eagle Embraer E175 heading out to Philadelphia. Currently on the takeoff roll on runway 29, we have another new service for Cedar Creek. We have the American Eagle CRJ700, which will be heading out to Washington, Ronald Reagan, DCA. So another very helpful route to have out of Cedar Creek. A fair amount of demand for this one, kind of like Washington IAD on United. It's just a one less frequency on the same exact aircraft, so this is a 3 daily service for DCA. It might get upgraded in the future to like a CRJ 900 or something, which would be really nice. We'll have to see though. Currently, once again on the takeoff roll, runway 29, departing out to DCA on the second of 3 daily services. The inaugural happened earlier today, so I wasn't able to include that, but yeah, once again, the second daily service to DCA, the American Eagle CRJ700, currently about to rotate here in a couple seconds for DCA. Alright guys, that'll do it for today's Cedar Creek Regional Airport update. I think it's not going to be too long before this becomes international. I mean, when you have 3 Southwest gates and, you know, a bunch of Delta gates like we have, I think 4, I think there's definitely going to be a point in time where an international airline would like to start operations here, maybe something like Air Canada or something like that would be really nice. So we'll have to see what happens in the future. I think a city like Toronto would perform really well. So hopefully this becomes international soon. I don't think it can stay regional much longer before we need that international facility built. They are on the kind of on the edge of whether they should do that or not. So I think they definitely should. I just don't know when it'll come. I'm pretty sure it'll happen fairly soon though. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's Cedar Creek Regional Airport update for the Thanksgiving Eve update. A lot of really cool operations. Again, new routes, no new airlines this time, which is perfectly fine. We had a lot of new airlines in the last update. Some of those airlines already expanding, such as Breeze. They just came in the last update with Charleston, already adding airports like Tampa. So very nice to see them establish their presence here before they go ham on expanding into the niche markets. We'll have to see how long that takes. I think it'll be fairly quickly, as I may have noted in the last update. Very excited for what's to come for the airport, and I hope you guys are too. So that being said, that is the end of this airport update. Once again, Cedar Creek Regional Airport for, I guess, another November update. I know we had one a couple weeks ago, so it's nice to see Cedar Creek coming back stronger than ever. Hopefully I can continue this trend and not, you know, miss all these updates and do it so inconsistently, because that's not very fun. So hope you guys enjoyed today's airport update. If you did, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.